Good afternoon and welcome to our webcast on applying indicators to the U.S. dollar, just the latest in a series of live events produced by Trader Planet in collaboration with well-known industry speakers. Today is Thursday, June 17th. Thank you for joining us today. Darrell, your host for today's session, featuring Darrell Jobman, a senior analyst for TraderPlanet.com. Today's webcast takes place at a specific date and time, and therefore any opinions given by our presenter may change without notice at any time. Trading involves substantial risk of loss and therefore may not be suitable for all investors, and past performance is not indicative of future results. We are recording this webcast and it will be posted on Trader Planet, so you will be able to review the material at a later time. You will also find previously recorded webcasts among our other free member education resources within our site at www.TraderPlanet.com. Our guest, Darrell Jobman, trades his own personal account and has been involved in the financial markets for more than 40 years. A decorated Vietnam War veteran, he was a newspaper farm editor and editor of several agricultural publications before becoming an editor of Futures magazine for more than 15 years. He has written and edited more than a dozen books and courses on trading. While his passion is helping others succeed by teaching the do's and don'ts of trading, his editorial contributions to Trader Planet have really allowed him to take this objective to a whole new level. We're happy to have him with us today. Let's give a warm welcome to our friend, Darrell Jobman.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Darla. First thing I want to do is to make an audio okay. There's a little man at the lower left. If you have, would you just click on I agree, and that gives me a check mark indication that everything is working fine, and we'll proceed. Okay, looks like that part is working, so we will proceed. A couple of other little housekeeping items to mention. First of all, we are the data that will be used on the charts that we're going to be showing is provided by CRB, in business a long time, so they use on our charts. Secondly, when we do want to put your computer on full screen mode to pick up a little bit more of the detail that you see on the chart, because we'll be talking about some specific points. Today's topic that we're going to be talking about is one that probably everyone is pretty well aware of what's going on, because in addition to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which everybody kind of cites as a kind of a gauge of what's happening in the stock market, everybody talks about the U.S. dollar. What is the U.S. dollar going to do? Impact also on so many different commodities that are priced in gold, beans, you name it, almost anything priced. Obviously, people have to pay attention to what is going on with the U.S. dollar and how that value shifts from day to day, from week to week. Very important clue for prices of other commodities. This slide that you see here is pretty much a repeat of a slide that I used in just another webinar earlier this week. On the market are pretty much those that weigh up on the value of the U.S. dollar. Of course, a big factor right now that is also in the news. All these items are kind of ongoing news items, but the status of the euro, what's happening to the European economy, what is going to be happening. Not only, Greece is kind of like the news that's in the past, and people have moved on now to, well, what's going to happen with like Spain or Italy, even talk about the UK maybe in problems. We know that there's been some discussion about Hungary and Eastern Europe having some issues with their currency values. So there are a lot of things related to developments and economy conditions in Europe that will definitely be a factor in world markets and affecting the U.S. dollar. The British Petroleum Gulf oil fiasco continues to make news. Huge PR problem, not a huge company problem for British Petroleum, but that has some implications for the whole oil industry, for the whole range of things that are related to government regulations that I'll talk about in a bit. We also have our ongoing debt issues. We still have bankruptcies. We still have foreclosures. We still have banks being shut down every week. There's still some concerns about some huge needs to be able to refinance or be able to ride out this kind of like this debt fiasco that has been ongoing for now. What will be the outcome? That also will have be a factor for what happens to the U.S. dollar. Then you have the economic numbers, the reports come out. Sometimes they are very positive, and generally things are looking a little better for the U.S. economy. And then not more than a little bit later, maybe a day or two later, you come up with some other number, maybe it's joblessness or whatever it happens to be, where those numbers are not looking so good. So it's still a very mixed bag for the economic outlook and how that will affect the value of the U.S. dollar. And then lastly, of course, we have this prominent government role that is increasing or has been increasing into the area of business activity in an attempt to solve the problems that are resulting from, the housing bubble and some other issues that are going on. Companies, insurance, housing, we said personnel. And that government role that is now different areas, it shows itself emphasis in financial going on. We're seeing restrictions on oil drill even be allowed, what happens to supply for oil. We're expecting probably that some of these things are going to wind up costing for taxes. And it's not just the U.S. There are governments elsewhere that are dictating types of austerity measures and about what has happened in the streets in Greece or Spain. The people there. Now the question is, the dollar and lead to higher inflation rates? A very big question is still no answer yet. The only thing that we can do, of course, is we can look to our charts and to see its dollar on the chart, try to track it that way, because a lot of these issues have no real control over and no real say in what will happen. We are, not just in terms of the market. We're going to look a little bit at first of all, the big picture for the U.S. dollar before we get into a strategy of how we're going to use our U.S. dollar. And obviously, this is probably that if you've been involved in the current